We began this series discussing the importance and value of assuring our deaf and disabled voices are included in podcasting, literally and metaphorically.
From the philosophical to the practical, like recording, editing, branding, and more, all with the desire to have more successful representation in podcasting.
Today's episode, our last in this series, is a celebration of our success.
Wait, are we patting ourselves on the back?
No, we're not celebrating ourselves as in this Pod Access podcast. We're celebrating ourselves as in the success of deaf and disabled podcasters around the world.
Welcome to Pod Ask Us.
Isn't it Pod Access?
Can it be both?
Connecting deaf and disabled podcasters to audiences and each other.
Cheryl, do you know the name of the first deaf or disabled podcast?
No, I don't.
Same here. And that's too bad. Ever since that podcast, whatever it was, first press published, they began filling a gap, even if that gap still exists today.
Let's hear from some of our podcasters about the gaps they were filling. First up, Kutsia from Down to the Struts.
I think the gap that I was trying to fill is content that helps to demonstrate why centering disability or acknowledging disability even in policies, processes, systems, physical structures makes them better inherently.
Endeavor from AAC Town and Keith from Black Disabled Men Talk both helped to fill specific voids.
The time we started out, we were the only podcast I knew of that was actually created by AAC users themselves. Perhaps that's changed since then? I'm not positive.
When we released the first episode, I think the void that we filled was nobody talked about us, Black men with disabilities, whether visible or non-apparent, and how it also reflects on Black disabled women who are also very much in that same kind of space where their issues and their topics are very much not included in the larger social justice movement. Isolation is a real thing in the disability community, and particularly when you get into multiculturalism or multi-ethnic communities, isolationism and disability and ableism tend to put people in a space where they don't see themselves or they feel like they're the only one. So this was our attempt to say you're not alone and your voices are being heard, and here's how we hope we can help you raise and use yours better.
Working to increase representation in any space has its challenges. And as Antoine from Deaf Woke says,
oh, it's a big responsibility. There was a big television show, and the show had deaf people from a university. Many people interview white individual deaf people and barely then interview the Black person in that show. And I felt that it was my responsibility to go out, and say, hey, let me interview you, and if you want to be interviewed. And he was really happy about that. I think it's just really important that we can find a space for our people to speak up, have their own voices. I understand what it's like to not feel like you have a place in the world. I grew up where I felt there was no place and that I would take myself out from the world. I'm grateful that I didn't take myself out from the world. So life is precious, and I want other people to understand that.
We're still at a point in time that whatever content you're producing is probably still filling a void.
no matter the subject, fashion, politics, sports, whatever it is, producing from a deaf or disabled perspective, or just the fact that we're involved in the production, there's some space for us to fill.
I don't see other disabled people as competitors. I see us as like building art and community. I think there's only room to grow in terms of the disability podcast space.
When you have an understanding of the gap you're trying to fill, that can really help guide you throughout the process.
Defining your target audience, finding your specific style and voice, and even helping you determine who exactly is a right fit for your podcast.
We talked about all of these things in more detail, but the truth is, podcasting is about emotions.
We're not talking about getting your guests to cry as if that's a big accomplishment.
Definitely not. We're talking about the feelings associated with every part of the process. Cheryl, what's your favorite part of the podcasting process?
I love taking an interview or a recorded story and finding the one or two ideas that I really want to focus on and cutting everything else away, everything, so it's really focused. Thomas, what's your favorite?
There's this taking shape thing that happens at various moments throughout the process. I may start off with some inkling of an idea, and then it slowly starts to take shape. During the writing, editing, and mixing, all of a sudden, I'm even more attached to this episode. I love that feeling. It's like a high.
For Proudstutter's Maya, it starts with the interview.
After I record an interview, I feel amazing. Instantly bonding to those folks that have been on the interview. It's just such a powerful experience for me. And it's very therapeutic too. Every time I do an interview, it's like healing and transforming and accepting and all that stuff.
There's a myriad of emotions.
Excited, nervous, a little bit of terror about how it's going to be received.
Relief.
Knowing that when I hit publish, this is going to be something that helps at least one person. So that's a very awesome feeling for me.
Vulnerability. You are putting yourself out into the world with no shield. People are not necessarily beholden to be pleasant to what you're putting out into the world.
The wide range of emotions can include frustration and self-doubt, but persistence will ultimately lead you to a great place.
Every time I do an episode, I get more confident in my skills as a podcaster. I can do this.
Oh my gosh, it's like the best feeling in the world.
What is success?
For me, it's a podcast that finds its audience and has an impact in mind and curates its content in furtherance of whatever that impact may be. And that impact might just be making people laugh or telling a good story, but it is curated and designed to meet its audience and to achieve whatever impact it wants to achieve.
For me, I think, for a disability podcast, say it only has one episode out and only a few listeners. Even then, if it's challenge ableism or internalize ableism for just one of those people, I think that's a success. Not that I think every disability podcast needs to address ableism directly in their content, but that I think there are plenty of people out there who, it's just never occurred to them that disabled people create podcasts. So simply putting oneself out in itself there can challenge ableism. Like with me and Sam, who goes on iTunes expecting to find podcasts with our type of voices? Probably not many people. So while there's a lot we could do to grow and improve our process, right now just existing in any way feels successful to me. I say all this because I hope other disability content creators feel the same way. While of course we all deserve recognition and compensation for our labor, podcasts don't have to have certain stats or monetization or whatever other markers capitalism is prescribing we measure ourselves by to be a success.
A successful podcast, did it do what we set out for it to do? Did that young black mother who has this child who everybody's pushing into special education, did she get a ray of hope that her son can grow up to be a man? that he can be proud of himself and that she can be proud of. That's how we measure success versus we had 1 million downloads, yet kids in St. Louis who are Black are still segregated from regular education.
A successful podcast is having an engaged listener base where you get a mix of email notes from listeners, engagement on social media, and also reaching people that are harder to reach in your niche of a podcast. I think a successful podcast partners with other groups where it makes sense. I've partnered with the National Stuttering Association and other stuttering groups. And so really having an engaged listener base and strategically partnering with other groups so you can keep growing your listener base and find new people to join your community.
The step for me during my podcast was #DeafWokeShow is making sure my guest is happy, is feeling that they were able to express what they wanted to express, to give them a safe space to share their story. This does look like having the audience be connected with my guest. It's an amazing feeling. The interpreter feels supported. The guest feels supported. After it's done, I felt like I did an hour workout, and I feel sore in my body. That time it means your body is growing. The muscle is growing in a different way. I hope that means I'm getting stronger while I'm doing this podcast. And I hope that's another way to view success. I'm getting stronger to ask the right questions, being smarter, to be connected with my guest. My goal is to listen and find a way to make sure what the guest is saying is being understood to the audience. Sometimes my guests, who are deaf, sometimes they sound really fast, and I understand them very well, but I say, oh, can you say that again slower? Do it a little bit slower, And because I know my audience, some of them know sign or don't know sign, or maybe they know sign, but their computer may be a little bit slow. I'm working to listen and make sure we capture whatever message they're trying to put out. When I get that done, that is success for me.
I'm feeling inspired, energized, and yet a little sad.
Okay, the first two sound like what I want our audience to feel, but not sadness.
It's just that this is the last episode in this series, and I feel like we're leaving them on their own now.
Oh, definitely not. Everyone can subscribe to our newsletter to get monthly tips, encouragement, maybe even some prompts to help ignite some creative ideas for future episodes of their podcasts. Plus, we've been talking about ideas for future episodes, so we'll be back. So whether we're talking about podaccess.net or deaf and disabled podcasts, we have a lot to look forward to.
And if we support each other, understanding that we're not in competition, and there's room for all of our voices, then no matter how we measure success, we'll achieve it.
Big shout out to Alice Wong and the Disability Visibility Project, who not only had the initial idea for a project focusing on deaf and disabled podcasters, but also provided the funding to kick this off.
Shout out to all of our podcasters who shared their experiences, insight, and lessons with us.
Ajani AJ Murray from Acting Up with AJ and Crew.
Antoine Hunter from Deaf Woke.
Endeavor from AAC Town.
Keith Jones from Black Disabled Men Talk.
Kennedy Healy from Crip Crap.
Maxwell Joy Moore from Power Not Pity.
Maya Chupkoff from Proud Stutter.
Cassia Naki from Down to the Struts.
Rebecca Vallis from Off Kilter, or now it's called It Doesn't Have to Be This Way.
I'm Thomas Reed from Read My Mind Radio.
And I'm Cheryl Green from Pigeonhole.
If you haven't already, please head on over to all of these podcasts.
Give them a listen.
Read or watch. Wherever you are with your podcast, consider yourself on your way to success.
Did you determine who your target audience is? Decide on a format? Find an accessible way to create your podcast?
You're on your way. Now just keep moving forward.
How do you define success? What would be of help to get your podcast up and running or take it to the next step?
Let us know. We want to continue to help you reach your goals and support the entire deaf and disabled podcast community. Go to podaccess.net and hit the Contact Us button.
And you can upload a voice memo or write a message.
And you might just hear it.
Read it.
Or see it in a future episode of the podcast or on social media.
Tell a friend and an enemy to follow or subscribe to Pod Access wherever you get your podcasts and on Instagram at @ThePodAccess, @ThePodAccess.
Podaccess.net.